Welcome back, guys. So I got a request to clean both my Ruger and my Taurus. In this video, I'm going to be cleaning my Ruger. So let's clean it. If you missed my video on how to field strip the Ruger, go ahead and click on the link and you'll be able to be taken there so you know how to do that, because I'm not going to go into super big detail. So, of course, the first thing you need to do is drop your magazine and take out any that you have. Make sure your barrel is clear so you're safe while doing this. All right, I'm going to take this apart, safety off, lock this back to the rear, get this and pull that down. And while we're here, I'm going to pop this guy out. It's a nice little safety. And then the whole thing just falls apart. So there's a few essential things that you need for cleaning your weapon. Q-tips is one of the main things. Definitely need Q-tips. These things are super cheap. It's like $1 for this whole thing of 500. And these will get down into the little areas and they're really soft, so these are great things to have for cleaning. Next thing, definitely need some gun oil. That keeps everything lubricated and working longer, and make sure it doesn't rust anything. Dental picks is another thing I definitely recommend if you do a lot of shooting and you have a lot of carbon buildup. These things will take it off very quickly, and it's so much easier with these. Of course, have some kind of rag for your residue, your carbon, and your lube that's left over. And something very, very important is your snake for cleaning your barrel. This one is specifically for a 9mm, and let's get into it. So first, I'm going to start out with the lower receiver end of things down here. This usually doesn't need a whole lot of cleaning. Just make sure your magazine slide in here. Trying to get that focused. Anyway, just make sure this is clean. You don't need to really do a whole lot in here. Just make sure it's clean of any kind of debris. And up here with all of the metal is what is going to have some important value, or it's also going to be rubbing up against something else. So that's why they put metal in there. So the best thing you can do for this kind of stuff is to use lubricants. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my toothbrush, I'm going to put some lubricant up on the top, and I'm going to scrub through here. Now, scrubbing through here gets all of the little nooks and crannies, and also with the oil, you're able to spread oil in all of those little locations, either on the metal parts or even on these little plastic parts in here. Just do the best that you can with the toothbrush, because anything that the little bristles can't reach will do with the Q-tippy. So this is a relatively clean handgun since the last time I cleaned it. I haven't shot it. So you're going to go through all of this, make sure it's nice and clean. Get yourself a Q-tip and place some oil on it. Now that I have some oil on here, I'm going to go over the areas that need the oil in more quantities than what is currently on there. Pretty much the metal parts. Definitely these parts here where the slide is happening and it has a lot of friction. Make sure those are covered in oil. And then back here, any of these other pieces, make sure they're nice and oiled up. Trigger mechanism down in here. Don't go too violently because you don't want to have this cotton getting stuck in there. And all these places that you can't get with your toothbrush, this is a great thing to use to get down in there, clean up all that carbon dust and chunks that might have flown out. And yeah, see, it's got a little bit of chunks in there. But anything that moves, has metal, you want to get in there and make sure there are lubricants all up in there so there's no rust or any kind of anything to screw it up when you're actually firing. So afterwards, this is what it's going to look like. And you can see right along here, this cotton is starting to come off. So don't be afraid to throw these things away. They're very cheap. And another thing you can do, if you are super cheap, but you don't want to ruin your gun, take off all that extra fuzz and use this. Then you can use it again, and then the other side, but you've got 500 in there, so it's only $1. You don't have to worry too much about that. So next, we're gonna take the spring out, and we're gonna take the barrel out. This is as far as you need to go. So I'm gonna work on this upper receiver area. So you can see it's pretty clean, but you can also see the marks where it has rubbing going on with other pieces of metal. It's usually like right here, right down here, and of course the inside here where it hooks in, this little groove where it slides. So definitely make sure those are clean and lubricated. So I'm gonna use the same method as I did before. I'm gonna get my toothbrush with some lubricant, and I'm gonna go through here and I'm going to scrub the inside of any nasty stuff that's in there. I love using the toothbrush. It's the best thing you can possibly use. It's really quick. It gets all of the little areas. And if this gets dirty, just go to the sink, clean it up, soap and water, get all the crap off of it, make sure it's nice and clean, dry it very well, because you don't want to have any kind of moisture inside here. It could possibly rust, and that's really not what is supposed to be going in here. So you can also have more than one toothbrush. Usually when you buy these are super cheap. I think I got these at like the dollar store. They come in packs of 4 anyway, so whatever works. But do the best that you can with the toothbrush, and then again, follow up with the Q-tip with some lube on it. So let me put some lube on here. And like I said, any place that has some finish coming off, some rubbing, just really get in every location that you can with the oil. It protects the weapon, makes sure everything runs the way it needs to be. Lube is good. Can't do a lot of things without lube. So any place that you usually can't get to, all these little holes right in here, all these little nooks that you have to get into, make sure they have a nice coating. And I think that looks coated and clean. Now, I don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this because I haven't fired it in a while, but this is just a quick tutorial. So next up, we have the spring. Now, this one is really easy to clean if you have a toothbrush. Same thing, get some on there, lube it up, and you're gonna go through, and the toothbrush is gonna clean out any kind of specks or chunks of carbon that's in here. And once you're done going across it, you're gonna turn like I am here. So you can go full circle and make sure everything comes off, all 360 degrees of it. And once you're done, it's gonna be nice and clean, no more carbon crap on there, and it's lubricated. Last but not least, we're gonna go to the barrel. Now, this is one of the most important pieces, obviously. The outside usually doesn't get too dirty, so a nice clean, maybe with a light lubricant. We're gonna just clean it up, make sure there's nothing on there, there's no carbon. Usually you'll get carbon right up here on this little lip. You might have to use some tools to get that off. That's, in my experience, this is where I get the most carbon buildup. So make sure that's nice and clean and smooth so you can get bullets to go through there without the pain and hassle. So now we're going to look through the barrel. Mine is pretty clean. But usually after you fire, you're going to have a bunch of little specks and carbon and crap in there. So we're going to use our snake to clean this out. Now this snake is for 9 millimeters only. If you go too small, you're not going to get a good clean. And if you go too big, it's going to get stuck. So for mine, I have a weight at the end, so it goes right through the barrel. I don't have to fish around with it. And then once it goes through, this green is going to be for basically soft cleaning of the inside. And then it has 2 areas here, which are like wire brushes. This wire is going to scrub the inside. So I'm going to pull this through. Just like that. And then we're going to go almost to the edge. And of course, we've got a little handle here. So now we can go the other way. And just like that, you might need to go a few passes depending on how many times you've shot the weapon. But if we look through here, there we go. See, it is much cleaner than it was before. And you'll definitely notice a difference. The best thing to do for these, obviously if you're not videotaping it, is to point it up towards the sky or a light so you can see the grooves on the inside and see how clean it is. So once everything is back together, besides your clip, obviously, we don't want that in there while we're doing this, rack it. So all of the lubricant that you put in there is going to be spread around and evenly distributed to where it needs to go. Once that's done, you're finished, and I hope this helped you guys out. So have fun.